Doing today? Good to see you guys. Good to be here. Can we turn the mic up a little bit? Is that possible? Do we have an SM in here? Audio guy?
Hey, whatever. So tonight we're going to start with a field location right off the top of my head. Just a little bit of ASMR.
Oh, that is right? Like, womp, 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 womp. Hello, everybody. My name is Josh Petersdorf. You know me better as the one-man apocalypse Roadhog.
And hello, I am Feodor Chin. You might know me as the Omnic Monk Zenyatta.
Emphasis on the t.
Yes. Yeah.
Emphasis on the Zenyatta. So it's been an amazing. Oh wait, there's a.
Hello, hello. Oh. That's yeah. Better, worse, better. Yeah.
Better. You want to do this side too?
Test. Oh yeah.
Okay. Better. Thanks, guys. You know what? It's been an amazing time here so far. Super Bowl Sunday. Thanks for right before the big game hanging out with us.
A lot of football fans.
Clearly, football fans. We're really into the sport of football around here. So into football. We are not here.
So into football, we just had to miss it.
No one cares about the Patriots here, but we do care about you guys and our wonderful Overwatch community who always shows out. You guys are phenomenal. I always like to say there's only one version of you in the universe, and you guys are definitely the best versions of you. So we thank you guys for your continued support. We'll gladly do some Q&A. The panel's only going to be a little quick, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes today, so we can continue to explore the rest of this cool place and pick up any last-minute items. We know the event's closing out, so if anyone has a question, go ahead and raise your hand, and we'll start telling some stories.
Yeah.
Hey, you in the back there. That's way in the back row. What was that? Favorite Roadhog character? Favorite Roadhog skin? There's no one back there.
Right there.
Did you have a question? No, seriously. Good question. The question was, if anyone can hear, how long did it take to actually do the voice acting for the characters? I know that I've done at least 4 to 5 different sessions probably for Roadhog. The original ones were about 4 hours each session, so the first 2 sessions, 2.5 I'd say, was before Overwatch came out. That was the pre-release, and that did a lot of, it was very vocally intensive, you know, so it was 4 hours straight. There was a lot of lines. I remember looking at it like, oh my God, there's like 337 lines I want me to say in like 2 hours here. So there's definitely a couple sessions. And then in the past, as new events were added, like the Uprising event and Lunar New Year and stuff like that, we were obviously called in to record the new voice lines and stuff like that. But it's always curious because when you get the call, because we never know, you know, a lot of the stuff that's released was recorded a long time ago.
Right.
So it's almost like and it's almost as if they've passed over it at that point. It feels like some of the lines, I'm like, where did, like in particular for me, the idiot line in the Junkrat skit, which was awesome, the Junkerton thing with Roadhog is just idiot at the end. And I was like, I don't know when I recorded that. I have no idea when that was done. But I don't know if it, seriously, I didn't know if it was a long time ago, if it was one of the more recent sessions. So.
Yeah, that's about right. That first session was probably a 4-hour session. And in the ensuing years, it's probably been about, 3 years now? Going about 2-3 times a year for any updates, events.
Yeah, so it's definitely multiple sessions have occurred. I know some people have gone in more than others because they've had more animated shows, like Reinhardt and Diva and Genji had their little thing when they were in Heroes of the Storm too. Some of the characters have also been in that. You're not in that, right? Yeah, and Roadhog isn't yet, I hope. Zenyatta isn't yet, right?
Yeah,
We're hoping they'll make it.
Because you guys are too cool.
That's right, yeah. You know what's funny is I talked to, when we did the Blizzard rap party 2 years ago, I got to speak to some of the developers of Heroes of the Storm, and I was kind of like trying to pitch, like, Roadhog fit great in the game. And they were like, well, we already have somebody with a hook. And I was like, oh, okay. But then I was like, what about like him and Junkrat or like a 2-man team, like Chokeall? And it takes like 2 people to play it. And they were like, oh, And for a moment, I thought that I mattered. And it was So, thank you for your question. Anyone else? Sure. How often do we get lore questions? A lot. We do get lore questions a lot. I want to say, with my character, Roadhog, there's not a lot of stuff other than the comics, so you really have to do your backstory. He seems like he's really depressed and like bitter and mad at the world, you know? He's like, the world deserves us. And he just lives in a shack, and people, you know, and people are like, don't mess with the hog. Hook. I thought that was really cool. And I think that's the neat part about a lot of the characters is that some of the mystery remains. They'll kind of sprinkle you with a little information. Like Zenyatta is a very, you know, important character because he's kind of the secondary, the recoming of the original Omnic that was assassinated by Widowmaker, right? He's kind of the vice president to that one, and now you've kind of taken the role of the peaceful Omnics.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think we you know, particularly with Zenyatta, we know kind of the bare bones story, but, you know, we'd definitely love to hear more of his background, how he came to be where he is now. So yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
I think a lot of the coolest benefit of Overwatch is that it's so sandboxy. When they leave it open, like, okay, we'll let you guys play with these ideas, and maybe when one comes out of the community that we're like, we like that too, you know, they go, okay, cool. Maybe they were thinking on the same level. I think that's one of the strengths of the franchise for sure. Yeah. Good question, thank you.
Do you like any of the female voice actors?
Do we like any of the female? I hate them all. Can't stand them. They're so good. I know.
The worst.
They're amazing. I think all the female cast. You know who's really amazing is Anjali.
Like, have a crush on
Oh, have like a crush on them. Oh. I have a fiance, so my heart has been taken. Someone recently said they're like, he's no longer a one-man apocalypse. He's a two.
Nice.
But Theo has a crush on me. So. But no, but I think Anjali is a great example for all the female voice actresses because she's such a strong, powerful woman. She's such a great stage mom also, and she's a great leader. And she brings us together a lot, and we really are lucky to have her. So she's a strong presence in the world, for sure.
Well, and all of the Overwatch voice actresses are crush-worthy in their own unique way. I mean, and frankly, the whole cast. And honestly, I think we say this a lot, but like 25, and like pretty much everyone is cool, and that's in Hollywood. That's kind of rare. Yeah, but everyone's great.
The cast is attractive, both men and women. I can say that. You know, I'm secured in my masculinity to say that, and my fiance won't get mad. All the female actresses are very attractive too, so definitely yes.
Yeah, whenever you guys do your voice, recordings, do you guys get to choose some of the voice recordings yourself, or make up your own as you go?
For the most part, no. Because Michael Chu, the head writer, they have a whole team designed and built around the lines. So when we get the script, it's been poured through for the most part. So for specific lines, no. Now, we do get some artistic freedom on the accents of how you say it or how you would do a grunt. You know, sometimes they're like, well, we need 3 kind of painful screams here of him falling, you know? And so you get to kind of put your own twist on what you would think on that, and they get to shut you down like, no. I get told a lot, you know, too aggressive, we need to bring him down a little bit, which is a good thing, and they're laughing when they do it. Like, no, it's okay, like Roadhog would do this, but in this particular part, he's not like completely raging and tilted, so.
Yeah, no, because Michael Chu, head writer, he definitely, he knows, he knows the story, and he knows where it's going, and we don't, and so pretty much the only input we would get would be like Josh said, or sometimes if a line might be a little clunky, like kind of word-wise, it might shift it around a bit, but otherwise, yeah, it's pretty much by the book.
And that's why I think it's such a testament to how strong the writing is that, you know, they wrote all of this and they have a vision for each character to be so iconic and specific. It's really cool to see their work come to life in our eyes, and I'm sure in theirs too. Yeah. Good question, thank you. It's a Green Ranger flute song.
What would be your favorite line out of all of them?
Oh, what's our favorite line? There's so many. I love welcome to the apocalypse. 'Cause it's like, you know. That was one of the first ones we recorded, because that's right when you pick him and he does the laugh like, right? Yeah. So I got that wheeze based off of a fellow voice actor named Dan Gilbert who performs at Universal Studios Hollywood. I do the Optimus Prime meet and greet with Megatron there also. Yeah, really fun. So if you guys are in LA, come check that out. And he does this great wheeze, because it's like, we had this kind of theory of like, what would Megatron sound like if he needed to breathe, but he didn't need oxygen, but he was still inhaling the oxygen on Earth. And it was kind of, you know, it was a weird, it was like, and thus, Roadhog's emphysema was born, you know. There was a great video they did, if you want to do some wonderful history on YouTube, from BlizzCon 2 years ago, BlizzCon X, when they did an entire hour panel about the sound design of all of Overwatch, and Roadhog was a huge portion of it, and the clicks and the inhales and the gas mask sounds. The whole sound design team did a great job with everything, and I love how unique Overwatch sounds different. It doesn't sound like another game, and I think that's another reason why it's so popular. It has those iconic sounds like Star Wars, sounds like Star Wars, Last Jedi. But I'm throwing a hit at that movie every chance I can in public. I don't care.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Porks, not enough porks. Yeah.
I love Daisy Ridley's character. I thought that was part of it. But yeah, so my favorite line would be that. What's your favorite Zenyatta line?
I have a few, but definitely one of them has to be, I dreamt I was a butterfly. It just, you know, it's like, what does that even mean? But it sounds cool. And I will not juggle. Just 'cause.
You won't.
He's like, he tried it in an earlier line. He's like, it did not work well with this juggling. I was not paid a fair wage. Thank you for your question. Thank you.
So, what inspired you guys to become voice actors? Like, what experience caused you to like, oh, I want to do that?
For me, I've always been, since I was a kid, I was always a ham. I won the speech contest in spelling bee from like 5th to 8th grade. I was in the plays every year. When I hit high school and I hit my awkward phase, I was really awkward. I was really self-conscious about myself, and it was tough, man. Those are hard years. High school is hard, so is junior high. I totally feel for anyone who's going through it today. It's rough. And I kind of got pulled a bunch of different ways. I started doing more sports, because I was athletic, and but I just didn't get enjoyment out of it, you know? And my parents liked seeing me play, and I did like, you know, competing and stuff like that. I was a swimmer. I played water polo, and I was really good at it. I won the championship when I was like a junior. But it never gave me joy, you know? So when I was in college, I started making music, and music was giving me joy because I was learning to go into the studio. One thing led to another, and years down the line, I took what I learned from recording music and transferred it into voice acting, knowing what equipment I would need and the technical aspect of it. And by that point, I was an older, you know, I have an 11-year-old son, and when I had him, I was really young. I was 23 when I had Shane. So things changed in my life, and I had to grow up really fast. I went from being a kid who was just really free to having to like really have responsibilities, and it taught me discipline in my life, being a father, and then I kind of transferred that into voice acting. I always loved performing, you know, and you always got to believe in yourself, and just believe that you can do it, and I thought, this is something that I want to keep trying at. So, I mean, and it's the true Hollywood story with me. I'm sorry for ranting, but I moved to LA, worked waiting tables and bartended for 2 years. Took an acting class every single week with my agent, and it was $25 on Wednesday night at 5:30. We'd go in from 5:30 to 6:30, and I did it for a week, you know. I was single at the time, so like I was getting creative. I would like take girls on dates and be like, do you want to go on a date? Let's go to my voice acting class, like, you know. I was trying, like, you know, I was seriously putting the work in. And true story. And so a period passed, and a year after it's in this agent, there was kind of a special meeting night when they're like, you can pay to meet a bunch of agents, you know, and have a one-on-one private audition with them so they can really judge you to see if you're ready to be pushed to the next level. And it was the agent I had seen for a year, and she's like, oh, you're pretty serious now that you're spending money to meet me, and you've seen me for a year. This is proving to me that you're kind of serious about this now. What are you doing? Have you been doing any projects? Can I hear anything? And I had just landed the Universal Studios job as Optimus Prime, because I would play Warcraft at night and speak in the Optimus Prime voice to people. You know? It's like, so truly, it's like, you know, follow your dream and do the work, do the hard work, do what it takes. That's how it happened for me.
Yeah, well, I'll give you the abbreviated version. Yeah, I pretty much I caught the acting bug in high school, like maybe a lot of people do, and took classes, did all the school plays. Then I went to UCLA. I studied acting there, and yeah, just pretty much pursued a career as on camera, like basically whatever I could get, and I still do on camera and theater. But it just so happened that, you know, I guess some of my voice work. Oh yeah, I do sketch comedy around LA. But yeah, you know, it's I think as an actor, you just, it's not so much something you choose as it chooses you, and you just kind of, you just have to do it. And but what I love about voice acting in particular is that you get the chance to play characters that you wouldn't on camera, because it doesn't matter what you look like. So, you know, it's pretty cool. And I think what's nice about Overwatch in particular is just how diverse it is, you know, particularly with the voice acting cast and the characters themselves. You know, I think there's someone for everyone, you know, that you can relate to.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Thank you for the question. Great question. I'm so long-winded. Well, let me tell you about 1995. I was but a young whippersnapper rolling through the twilight woods before the destiny. Before you, Potter. I am Alan Rickman Potter. Working on my Snape. Not bad, right? Right. Cool tidbit. Harry Potter fans out there? Any Harry Potter fans? Anyone been to Universal Studios and seen the castle? They just added a new nighttime light show, and the voice of the Sorting Hat is me.
Get that?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm the Hogwarts Sorting Hat. There's nothing I can't see. So try me on, and I'll tell you where you ought to be.
It was recorded once, and they play it like 4 times a night. But it's really cool, and I was really honored. We had to go through a lot of checks and balances through Warner Brothers and JK to approve it, and I'm really proud of that. So cool. Pink hair. Questions?
What costume is your character at the end?
Great question. Roadhog is a Slytherin. Even though I'm like totally a Gryffindor, Roadhog is a Slytherin. Ravenclaw. I can see Zen being Ravenclaw too.
Yeah, that Hufflepuff maybe, Brian.
Hufflepuff! I know. I know. I'm sorry. Did you want to go into Ravenclaw? I'm sorry. I know. I can't see.
Slid out.
She's dressed as a Cheshire cat. So. Who's the Slytherin? Who's Malfoy? Malfoy.
Alright, it's Overwatch later, I promise.
Yeah.
What was better, Wrestle Kingdom 11's Okada versus Kenny Omega, or Wrestle Kingdom 12's Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho, and why?
This is a wrestling question. I'm wearing a Bullet Club sweatshirt. I will have the answer. Both matches were phenomenal. I thought they were both 5-star matches, as Meltzer would say. I loved that seeing Jericho off the hinges is so cool. And seeing when you're so strapped to like a PG audience, to see him really like, because in Japan they don't know, and he says like cat words, so it's like, yeah. And I just loved how real and raw it felt. And there's something still untamed and raw about the wrestling in NJPW. And I think that the respect of the culture over there is definitely different than it is in the States, which is okay. You know, it's just different structure for folks. But Okada